Good morning, y'all. We are in Genesis 31:30. Genesis 31:30. And we got a new coffee cup sponsor. Yes, we do. Okay. Alright, so and now thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house. Yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? Sheesh. Let's look up here for that one. 31:30. Sheesh. What a way to start off. Okay, 31:30. And now you have gone away because you have longed greatly for your father's house. Preach. Facts. Facts. And now you have gone away because you have longed greatly for your father's house. Facts. But why did you steal my gods? Ooh. Now 31. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure thou wouldest take by force thy daughters. 31. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me. And that's just like I was saying yesterday. So, just a quick recap, y'all, what's going on. Well, not yet, but facts. And Jacob. Okay. By the way, y'all, we're on YouTube at Preach Facts. We're blowing up. Going stupid. Well, we've been stupid, but, okay. Now, 32. With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live. Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. Yeah, there's something going on here with this imagery. Believe me, I'm the image hunter. I'm the type hunter. That's what I do. I hunt out meaning. That's what these stories are about, y'all. That's what these stories are about. And I meant, and it didn't dawn on me. I meant to tell y'all that yesterday, that when we do this and we say, oh, that's what that means, boom, 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 or that's what that could mean, this is a type of Christ situation, this and that. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. That we're doing the right thing. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. We're getting the right type of study out of this. Okay? So pat yourself on the back. I'll pat it for you here. Okay? For just being there to hear this. And if you see more meaning in that than I'm seeing in some of this stuff, please reach out at the Gmail at preachfacts7@gmail.com. That's preachfacts7@gmail.com, so that I can don't hide stuff. Help me learn too. Help me learn too, y'all. Come on. Yeah, come on. All right, now. Welcome to Georgia, y'all. Now, verse 32 up here. Anyone with whom you find your gods shall not live. In the presence of our kinsmen, point out what I have that is yours, and take it. Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. Okay. There's something big going on here. It looks like a Christ picture because, Christ died. He took on the sin. And it's basically like, this whole thing that God has against sin, there's no reasoning around that. It's not like, oh, let's maybe not do it. No, it's like a hurricane. It's like a bullet flying in the air. There's no stopping this thing. Christ is a Kevlar vest for us, y'all. When we put on the Christ, it is literally a bulletproof vest. And guess what? You got to be wearing it properly. You need to have the right degree of vest on for the right caliber bullet coming your way. And, it's like a Pope mobile. We're really hiding behind some serious stuff. So, and it doesn't discriminate. It's just coming. It's just coming, the judgment. God is pure. God is holy. So the point is that, doesn't matter who has it. It's just there. It's got to be dealt with. Okay, so let's push on for a minute. All right, now 31, 30. Yes, I have to go to work, y'all. I do have a regular job. I have to cut grass to pay my bills. And I love it. If you're in Gwinnett County, Georgia, or Hall County, Georgia, or Forsyth County, feel free to reach out and get some lawn care and junk removal. And we'll take the sin out too. Multifaceted services. The last one's free. We'll cut your lawn, take your junk out, and take you right to the promised land. Sheesh. How's that for, let me not blaspheme the Spirit. Let me not blaspheme the Spirit. Forgive me, Lord. Okay. Facts. How's that for service, y'all around the world? How's that for service? Sheesh. Preach. We're on a roll today, y'all. We're on a roll. Got a new sponsor. Look at the cup. This is the official coffee cup of Preach Facts. $31. $32. Anyone with whom you find that your gods shall not live. In the presence of our kinsmen, point out what I have that is yours, and take it. Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen it. Them. So Laban went into Jacob's. Now this is basically an image of post. To me, this is a possible post-Christ death sin holder. Okay, Christ came, he died. Guess what? Some people still holding stuff. Some people still want to hold on to their sin. They're once saved, always saved. They got all the answers. We just want to hear John 3:16 and a half. We want to hear Romans 10:9 and 3/4. We just want to hear certain stuff. We don't want to hear 1 Peter. We don't want to hear Genesis 32:7. We don't want to hear nothing, bro. So I'm just saying, bro. This is to me, a possible post-Christ death sin stance. Okay? Guess what? We're saying come in. The ones who are actually doing it, we have no shame. Come look. Lord, we love you. We're doing everything we can. Come look. We have no shame to look towards God. And that's what it's supposed to be. Okay? You know, I'm studying a lot of, I do a lot of studying, y'all, on, and I just want to say, I do a lot of studying on, you know, higher knowledge and stuff like that, but I am utterly convinced that he doesn't get any more wise than this book right here. It's as simple as it gets. If you're living the Christian life and you're meeting the criteria, you've gotten the second opinion, you're constantly rigorously taking inventory to see if you're in line. Then you're okay. There is no type of extra knowledge you can add to this. They're all going to be in light of this. All of those things don't conflict with this. But all of those things can lead to alleys that will take you away from this. So, all the wisdom in the world is true and good. Can lead you away from this, but does not conflict with this. This is King. Jesus is Lord. His teachings are King. The Spirit is the truth. This is the end and beginning of relevant, applicable wisdom to man. Alright? So, that's why we're getting the full meaning here, because it's all there. It's all there. Every principle in here that matters, we're just people in the hands of an angry God. That's all we are. Guess what? Anger, let me stop. It's too early for all this enlightenment. Alright, so. Because it's easy, man. The devil will tell you quick, hey, you're not really doing anything. You're just showing your nearsighted opinion. No, guys. That's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on here. Because the devil's quick to say that kind of stuff, man. Hey, your knowledge really isn't that broad. You're really not on point. But I beg to differ, y'all. We're going to grow while we're doing this. We're going to grow. We're going to grow in the right directions. And that's the way it works. We're willing to hear the word. We're willing to make adjustments. We know that we have to remain teachable. We're going to be shown things, and we're going to grow more in this word. It's going to become more a part of us. And it will become us. We'll become literally playing our role in the story, living out our script, not bad actors. Not bad actors. Rob Lowe. Yeah, we're not bad actors. He's not a bad actor. Okay. Okay, so guys, yeah. Anyone with whom you find your gods shall not live. In the presence of our kinsmen, point out what is yours and take it. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into, let me slide down. And Laban had went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the two maidservants' tents, but he found them not. And she said to her father, let it not displease my lord, that I cannot rise up before thee. For the custom of women is upon me. And she searched, but he, wow. This is definitely a Christ picture because the blood is covering us. The blood is cleaning us. That's another mystery about the blood thing. You know, we said yesterday that we don't really understand what that means to be sold under sin. But that's what that happens. And we also don't understand why the blood. All we know is there's blood in us. We don't really think nothing of it. We don't want to have it. We don't want to bleed. We know that. We don't want to be hurt. It's not a favorable thing, but to God, it's very precious and all that. So and all that, and it's just a lot of spiritual stuff pointing to the supernatural with the blood, and that's been going on in cultures for since forever. You know, they're making blood sacrifices. They're drinking blood. I heard the other day that, you know, if you drink the blood of your enemies, you get their power. You get power, and you know, I don't know. All I know is that God says don't drink the blood. It says that vampirism. So blood has a lot of stuff going with it, y'all. So it's just another mystery pointing towards God. So, you know, witchcraft, chicken blood, chicken's feet, you know, all kind of stuff going on with blood, man. The sprinkling of blood in the Old Testament. So from our standpoint, we really can't see what that's about. So we just need to take God's word for it and say, hey, okay, you know, that's serious. So where I was going with that is that she claims that she's on her period. She can't get up because I guess she's, you know, whatever. Let's check up here. 31, 30. Three. So Laban, this is a long chapter. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the two female servants. But he did not find them. And he went out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's. Now, Rachel had taken the household gods and put them in the camel's saddle and sat on them. Laban felt all about the tent, but did not find them, and he said to her father, and she said to her father, let not my lord be angry that I cannot rise before you, for the way of women is upon me. So he searched, but did not find the household gods. So she basically said, Dad, I'm on my period. I don't want to get up. But she's basically sitting on the camels. And this is a Christ picture because God does not mess with the Christ. God does not mess with the Christ. The Christ happened, that's what happened. Everything behind him is behind him. God does not tamper with the Christ. For one, that's him. Number two, you're behind it, and he doesn't. All of that has been cared for. It's not to talk about, it's done. We don't look under there. If it's under there, it's under there. You know, don't worry about it. So that is a bulletproof vest, like I said. I've used other analogies, but that's a good one. It's a bulletproof vest. It's a lottery ticket. It's a treasure map. It's a life raft. It's amazing things. So, with cosmic, universal, epic proportions. So, then Jacob became angry. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. And it's, in the Passover feast, they put, when the Passover happened in Egypt, they put the blood on the doorpost, following the instructions, so that the angel of death came and just passed right by. He did not come in the house with the blood on the door, because the blood was a sign for the angel not to come in. And that's just like a Christ picture. When we have the Christ, we get spared. It's not because we're cool. It's not because it's just because of God's mercy that we don't get hit. So, God is a God of violence. That's what he does. The whole time in the Old Testament, when they were getting their land, getting their inheritance, they were kicking some raw butt to get their land. Those other people had it coming. So yeah, he's giving the Israelites their land and their inheritance in Canaan. But guess what? The other guys are getting their due punishment too at the same time. So God is punishing people and rewarding at the same time. Not rewarding, but yeah, you could say rewarding. But yeah, he dragged them through a long journey, desert journey, and they weren't really living right. They weren't obeying. So what could have taken like 2 months ended up taking like 40 years. So God does not mind stringing you along and dragging you through long, tumultuous things just because you're not fully obeying. You've got God's hidden. You've got all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah, I want to say the journey that they went out of Egypt literally could have taken, it took them like 40 years and like several generations. But he let their descendants see it. But the initial people that were supposed to see it didn't see it because they weren't living right. They weren't obeying. They doubted. They were having orgies. All kind of stuff. So there's a lot of typing and imagery there, but we're dedicated, y'all. We're gonna get it. And I'm always telling y'all other stuff that parallels with this stuff. And I don't know everything. Okay? Now, (36) And Jacob was wroth, and chode with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, What is my trespass? What is my sin that thou hast so hotly pursued me? Pursued after me. Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge betwixt us both. This 20 years I have been with thee. Thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten. Okay. Let's check 38 up here. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried. 38. And that's kind of an image to me, guys, of, you know, when the Spirit comes in and we actually follow through to most of our ability, you know, that is not a miscarriage of the Spirit. And I have mentioned that parallel before about the Spirit coming in and all that. So the Spirit comes in, you know, hopefully for the new creation. You know, but not all ground is fertile. Not all, you know, people have abortions, and that's basically what happens when you don't give it, when you don't let the Spirit do its work, and you don't clean up all the way. You're basically having an abortion. Or when you go back to your old ways, you're basically having an abortion. You're kicking out the Spirit. You know, the fetus of the new man is no longer viable at that point. At that particular time, you know. So I'm not saying it's completely over, but it's definitely not a good sign. That is not a place where the Spirit resides, if that is happening. So take it or leave it, man. Take it or leave it. It says very clearly in the New Testament, those that keep on sinning, they have never known God. They have never seen God. Something along those lines. Is very frank and very upfront with that. So I want to say it's James. I thought it was a little severe myself, but hey, I'm not the Bible. I can't speak on that. So yeah, we don't want to be having a miscarriage like he said here. And that's basically what we're doing, guys. We need to treat the Christ like we're pregnant. You don't want to be smoking and drinking. You don't want to be doing a lot of things. You want to be nurturing, caring, preparing, making allotments for, you know, getting the room ready, doing things, you know, for the new creation, treating everything with care like it's the primary thing, and it is. So guys, yeah, that's what we need to be doing, acting like we're pregnant with the Spirit. You know, we need to be caring for it. What's coming, it's going to grow up. We need to have everything we need, and not in everything that we don't need. We need to not have it there. I'm very happy with that example. So, I mean, it sucks that, you know, whatever. So, okay, 39. I have not eaten the rams of your flocks. What was torn by wild beasts I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it myself. Okay. From my hand you required it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Let's check down here real quick, because they're getting deep here. We're getting deep here. That which was torn of beasts I brought not unto thee. And that's definitely a Satan picture, guys. You know, oh, he's a wild beast, man. He doesn't care. He's just out for power. He just wants another meal. You know, it's not. He just wants to devour you, and that's what's going on. Doesn't care who you are. It's just the fact that That's how hell bent he is. So, yeah, that's a good illustration. Let's see. With that which was torn of beasts I brought not unto thee. I bear the loss of it. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Wow, he's getting deep here now. He's saying, look here, you son of a gun. I went through sweat, blood, and tears, and you never relented. This is kind of deep. He's blowing up. He's blowing up. And that's what God's going to do on us. You know, look, I went on the cross. I don't want to hear it. Save it. Flames go up, you know. Just saying, he does not want to hear this crap, y'all. He went up there. He did it. He walked it. You had every opportunity to change. You heard this video. Let me hear this again. This is deep. He's going off on the man. Hey, man. You never relented. One time, you never let a finger up. You never let nothing get by you. But now you want to hunt me down like this? Let me tell you something, man. Whoo! For 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for 2 daughters. Hold on. Back up. When I was torn... What was torn by wild beasts I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it myself. From my hand you required it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. There I was by day, the heat consumed me, and the cold by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house, I have served you 14 years, and for 2 daughters. And that 14 years is significant, y'all, because that is a Revelation picture relating to the Christ. FYI, that 14 years is significant. Facts, facts, facts. For your 2 daughters, and 7 years, and 6 years for your flock. And you have changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not been on my side, surely now you would have sent me away empty-handed. God saw my affliction and the labor of my hands and rebuked you last night. Whoo! Hey, Laban. I lost a lot of sleep over you watching your stuff because you was a relentless master. You never let up. You wanted every red penny and then some. You know, there was no leeway with you. You have been a hard master. You have been a slave driver. And now you pull up on me like this. Let me tell you something, sir. Okay. Now here comes Laban, and there's a lot of picture. I'm not going back over because we're moving kind of slow today, but that's okay. I don't think we're going to finish this chapter today either, but we're just getting everything that we're trying. So, now to me, before I move forward, that's a Christ picture because he has given us ample stuff. This whole Bible, all the evidence in the world of God. You've had plenty of time to make the right choices. If you don't get in line at this point, you are just utterly rebellious and in denial. You have turned your ear the other way and looked the other way. You have gone out of your way extremely not to hear this stuff and not to act on it. So Don't, when God starts railing you, you don't have nothing to say. Trust me. Trust me. Okay, so. Okay. In the fear of Isaac. And that's important, the fear of Isaac. Let me check 42. And the fear of Isaac. So because Isaac feared the Lord, that was considered, because he's right. You're supposed to fear the Lord. It's not all Easter baskets and Christmas trees. It's not all like that. No, God is a violent God. He will literally smite you long and slowly. And eternally. He is something to be feared more than anything. Fear him first. It says that beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Lord. That's your base. Yeah, God is good, but you got to understand that what that means and all that. He's good because we're escaping him and his wrath. Sheesh, preach. So 43. No. Then Laban answered and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, the children are my children, the flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. But what can I do this day for these my daughters, or for those children who they have borne? Come now, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it be a witness between you and me. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. And Jacob said to his kinsmen, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap. And they ate there by the heap. And Laban called it Jegar Sahadutha. But Jacob called it Galeed. Let's slide back down, y'all. And Laban answered and said unto, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant, and I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brethren, gather stones. And they took stones and made an heap. And they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Jegar Sahadutha, and Jacob called it Galeed. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Galeed and Mizpah. For he said, the Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another. The Lord watch between me and you and me when we are out of one another's sight. That's kind of weird. Wow, okay. There's something going on with that, out of one another's sight. That looks like a spirit possible. Because, we don't see the Lord physically. He's not really apparent in the world. I mean, he is, but it can be argued against. People can talk all day long about how he's not real and stuff, but that's not really the case. The Lord watched between you and me, and we are out of one another's sight. If you oppress my daughters, or if you take wives besides my daughters, although no one is with us. 32:50. If thou afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives beside my daughters, no man is with us. See, God is witness betwixt me and thee. And Laban said to Jacob, Behold this heap. And then Laban said, 51, Behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast betwixt me and thee. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me. And God, the God of Abraham, pass over this heap for harm. They're saying they're not going to pass over this to harm each other. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge betwixt us. Judge betwixt us. And Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread. And tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning, Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. And Laban departed and returned unto his place. So God intervened, y'all. This was not going to be something pretty. If God hadn't intervened, surely Laban would have. There would have been more than just a feast and a pact. And he never found his images, his idols. That's something, So there's a lot going on there, y'all. We did a lot of, that's our reading. We finished it, surprisingly. We finished 31. So that just goes to show that, the Lord is going to be a radical intervener. They somehow found peace, even though they agreed to disagree. And that's what we're doing with the Christ. The sin, we don't want to let it go. It's fun. It has its pleasure. But it's just one of those things. You just have to say, hey, it's not going to work. God's not going to have it. It's really not in our best interest to do that. So we have to agree to disagree with the sin and getting that stuff out. Because there's not always but as we grow wiser with the Spirit, y'all, we can see how we're actually better off without it. Not just in a God standpoint, but actually in reality, we're actually better for it. It's more noble. It's It's just better to live this way. It's better for everybody, and it's just better for the world. So by not sinning, y'all, it's not just about God and instructions and scripture. I mean, it is, but he just happens to be right. It's just really, really the better way. And it's realizing that through the Spirit. The Spirit is teaching us these things. We're not so nearsighted. Once the Spirit comes in and it talks about all this stuff, torn by wild beasts, it's another chapter where everything's in here. Everything's in here about salvation in this whole chapter, about jealousy, envy, dealing with the world, God intervening, blood's covering. She's on her period. She's covering up all the stuff. The images of gods. Laban. Jacob goes off on Laban and says how he toiled and this and that. I lost sleep. Even when stuff happened that was out of his control, he was not given any grace. When the wild beasts come in and slaughtered and tore up the numbers, and so he had to go way out of his way to make sure that didn't happen. And that's another image that we should take from that. Is that we need to be on watch. There is no dull moments with God. There is no downtime against sin. And we need to be rigorously at all measures avoiding letting these wild beasts, that Satan, come in and tear up our stuff. Because it just wants to kill. So we're at a good stopping point right. I just want to make sure. Let's see. We covered all details. Got about, I don't know if I have time for a whole recap, but yeah, so in 31, y'all, Laban leaves. God calls Jacob to go home. And the whole reason he left was because Esau was trying to kill him. And so it's two birds with one stone. And he wanted to find a wife there. So there's a couple different reasons why he left. Primarily because his brother was trying to kill him. Or was going to kill him. We'll see. We're about to come back to the other end of that story. But yeah, he left because of that. And he came, he's had a vision on the way. He said, surely this is the gate of heaven, and that this is God's. I forgot what he said word for word, but God is in this place. Surely God is in this place. This is the gate, and I did not know it. He said, surely God is in this place, and I did not know it. Yeah, that's the way it is in the world. People don't know it. It's just one of those things. And we saw a lot of imagery right here with this chapter, and how the world looks at stuff. So there's a lot of stuff here. So he leaves in haste. He steals away. He takes off. Little did he know, one of his wives had stolen his father's images of gods. And what that symbolizes. Everything doesn't necessarily have to symbolize stuff, but to me, that sin is almost like an image of God, because that's a clutching of power that we're having. And God is the epitome of, God is power. He gives everything life. Everything that exists, we exist in Him. So, for us to take matters into our own hands is like stealing the power of God out of place. So that images of God is to me an image of sin, because we have our power. And when we're sinning, we're stealing God's power, because that's taking stuff in our own hands. We're basically becoming trying to become God at that point. When we're sinning, we are saying we are the authority. We're going to do what we want to do, and that's just how it is. We're telling God how it is at that point. So we're out of time, y'all. But guys, we did good on that. I think we covered a fair amount of stuff on that. There's a lot more. Just saying. A lot of meanings with the numbers of years. 14 years over here. Then 6 years. 6 is the number of man. 14 years is a well, 7 is the number of God, if I'm not mistaken. Perfection. So 14 years, I said, was a Christ picture. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. Imagery, she was on her period. And she hid under, she was hiding the images. Like I said, those were images. She hides it like Christ hides us under the blood and all that. So it's just a image. So there's just a lot of stuff, but we covered it pretty much. So that's it. Yeah, it was Genesis 31. Now I'm gonna let y'all go because we're out of time. But yeah, we did good on that. So I'll see y'all tomorrow.